I personally like to give myself challenges throughout the year, and about 4 months ago I decided to give myself the challenge of closing my Apple Watch rings every single day. Today I want to take a look at the results. Was it worth it? And would I do it again? Or am I even still doing that? Let's take a look. Hello and welcome to this video where I ask myself the question, was it worth to close my Apple Watch rings for the last 100 days? Before I start with the results themselves, I want to first answer the question of why this challenge at all. It feels a little bit random because, you can close the rings, but what does it really do? And mainly I found 3 reasons to give myself that challenge. The first one is that I generally like to be quite active. In my past, I've played basketball 3 times a week at least. So that was something where I forced myself to go out and do sports regularly. Nowadays, I like to do cardio workouts such as running or biking quite a bit. Aside from these cardio workouts, I also like to do all kinds of other things such as playing paddle, playing beach volleyball and others. And also during the pandemic, I started doing yoga more regularly and I've really enjoyed doing that up until now. The second reason for this challenge is that I have a job where I sit at my desk quite a bit. I work in the software space, which is traditionally not a space where you get to walk a lot or be active. I work from home 100%. Well, occasionally I do some traveling, but it's mainly working from home. So that means I sit at my desk all day. And I'm no health expert, but I would say this is not really perfect or healthy for the body. But of course, I want to get old in a healthy way. So naturally, I want to have a balanced lifestyle. The third reason I chose to close these rings every day is that it's a really easy to track metric. I'm wearing this watch basically all the time. And while I know that it's not the best indication for living a healthy life and being fit, it's very easy to just see, hey, have I closed all my rings today? By the way, today I have not yet. How this works is you get 3 rings. The first one is the calories ring, which is basically an indication of how active you've been and how many calories you've burned in that day. The second ring is the workout ring, which just tracks how many minutes of training you've done throughout the day. This works either with active workouts such as running, yoga, whatever, but it also auto detects when you are very active and tries to identify these activities as workouts and automatically tracks them. The third ring is the standing ring, I guess that's what it's called. And what it does is it tracks how many hours of the day you have stood for at least 1 minute. So now that we know the different metrics, the question is, how did this go? And mostly, I would say, really good. But for that, let's take a look at the measurements and the different categories that we have, starting with the standing goal. The goal is to have 12 standing hours throughout the day, which usually, for me at least, is quite easy to achieve. What's really helpful is that the watch reminds you when you haven't stood up for an hour, and it reminds you 10 minutes before the hour ends to get up and move. For the most part, this was quite easy for me because I get up quite early and go to bed quite late, I would say. So moving throughout the day has been fairly easy. I had a few days where this was more challenging. Specifically, I remember 2 days where I drove on vacation and back, which meant around 8 hours in the car for each day. And for these days, it wasn't that easy, but going out of the car to take a break, doing some stretching, you can achieve this. So all in all, this was the easiest goal to achieve in my point of view. Now, the next ring is the movement ring. And this is where things get a little bit more interesting because this ties in with the workout ring. Because if I do a workout, which means running, for example, or biking, this ring is filled easily. Also, depending on the lifestyle, you get to move quite a bit, right? For me, it's getting kid to school, picking her up, then doing some grocery shopping and similar things. So with that, you move quite a bit throughout the day. And if it's a more active day, it will already be enough to close that ring. Where this became tricky though was on more static days. And what I mean by that is days where, for example, I had to sit at my desk quite a bit, or days like the one I already mentioned with driving a lot and spending a lot of time in the car. It is far more difficult to close this movement ring if you're not naturally moving throughout the day. But I want to touch upon the next point for that, because this ties in really well. Because the next goal is the workout goal. If I have time throughout the day to get a workout in, so for example, go running in the morning or go running in the afternoon after work, or do something like a bodyweight workout at home, this is also very easy to achieve. But on some days, because being an adult, it's not always easy to find the time to get these workouts in. And these were the days where it became challenging. Because if you see these motivational coaches on platforms like Instagram, they will tell you that it's always just a matter of prioritization. And I highly disagree with that. It may be true for some people, but if you have a lot of tasks throughout the day, and these can be quite different things depending on the life that you're living. This can be, for example, having meetings at inconvenient times throughout the day. This can be that your commute takes way longer than expected. This can be that you have kids who might be sick one day and are at home, which makes it really hard for you to go out. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you have a life that is fully self-controlled, then this might be a matter of prioritization to always get the time in for that. But I guess that's not true for many people. So if your reality includes having a family, having work, and other adult duties, it becomes increasingly hard to integrate these workouts into your day. So this became the hardest challenge for me, to integrate these workouts every single day. But I want to talk more about this in the summary in the end, so let's keep that in mind. Alright, while I said that it was a very positive experience in general, I want to be honest with you, because there were also some minor drawbacks connected to this whole challenge. The first one is that sometimes it felt like a chore. Closing all these rings, getting a workout in, being active. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to do that. And in these cases, you really need to force yourself to do this, which can sometimes not be ideal. The second drawback that I already mentioned is that it's not always easy to integrate this into your life. So you have busy days, and it's not always easy to take time to get a workout in, or to stand up every hour, or to be active in general. This has been a challenge at times, and depending on the lifestyle that you have, it can still be very challenging to do this. The third drawback is that while closing all these rings and being active really helps, it doesn't paint the full picture on having a healthy lifestyle, because there's much more included in that. For example, things like nutrition, a healthy work-life balance, going out into the sunshine, having a social life. All these factors are not really considered here. I guess the overall summary here is that health is not just closing your rings every day. So finally, let's get to the question of, was it really worth it to do this? And for me, the easy answer to this is yes. Obviously, this depends heavily on the life you're living, on what's important to you, and many other factors as well. But for me, I want to live a healthy life. I want to be active. I want to move a lot. I want to go running a lot. So for me, this really helped to develop this discipline of doing this every single day. Because what happened on days where I was short on my movement goal or my workout ring, I really forced myself to get one more workout in. And these can be quite different things. For example, when I work late and I get up from the desk late at night and I see that I still haven't closed all my rings, I do some stretching. I do a yoga workout. And that really helps me to calm down, to get ready to sleep, to get away from the desk, from the computer, and get some movement in that feels very good for my body and for my mind as well. So while it wasn't always the best workouts that I've done at these times, it really helped me to at least force myself to do something. And it actually forced myself to do workouts where I wouldn't have done them. For example, I also discovered things that I really enjoy, such as going out for a nice walk when the sun is shining, which you can do at every time of the year, in winter, in summer, in spring, fall, doesn't matter. You can just go out and enjoy that. And it was really nice for me to rediscover these kinds of things. And the motivation where I got this from was to close my rings. And sometimes it really helped me to get over that hump when your inner voice tells you, oh well, you don't need to do anything, just go to bed, it's fine. And an example for this was the drive home from vacation that I mentioned, where I stayed in the car for over 8 hours, and I came home and I was really exhausted. But of course I needed to fill my workout ring. So what I did was I went for a quick run and a stretching workout afterwards. That really was good for my body and again for my mind. So I really enjoyed this, and I'm not sure I would have forced myself to do this if I hadn't had this challenge. And I have been saying the term I forced myself quite a lot here. And I think this is one of the dangers of doing things like that, because if I wouldn't have achieved this, the danger would have been that I would have been quite disappointed. So I guess this is also a question of how to handle failure and how to stay positive with this. And I recently saw a person on, I think it was Instagram, who said that discipline is the ultimate form of self-love. And I think this was really the key here, because while I had to force myself to do it, I always knew that doing this will make me more happy. And this ties in really well to the last thing I wanted to mention here, which is that after doing a workout, after doing sports, after being active, I personally have never had the feeling of, oh, that wasn't worth it. There's probably some physical explanation to this, things like dopamine. Now this is really thin ice because I'm definitely no expert here, obviously. But what I wanted to say here is that I've never regret doing a workout, even if I had to force myself to do it. And this looks different for everybody. So for me, I like to do one cardio workout one day, and the next day I do some stretching or other kinds of workouts to mix it up a little bit. So to sum everything up, for me, this was a great success. I already live quite an active life, but it really helped me get over the hump on these days where I just quite didn't feel like it. And for me, this is a very positive thing because, like I said, I never regret being active and getting a workout in. I more regret the days where I don't do that. And because eliminating these days where I just didn't feel like it is a good thing for me, I will continue to do this challenge because it helps me to get more freedom, because I'm forcing myself, there it is again, because I am pushing myself to achieve this and making it a discipline, and with that giving me more freedom to live the life I want to while achieving the goals that I set for myself. So with that, thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned something or got inspired to try out a challenge like this on your own. If you do so, let me know in the comments how these go. But for now, I want to thank you for watching and wish you a great day, and maybe consider going out today and get some movement in. Till the next one, bye bye.